Put default. Let's see. Hello, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Good night. I am so sorry, all this has never happened to me. Give me a second. Stream status is poor. Let me see. Okay, so listen. So I signed up for the I signed up. Oh, awesome! You guys can hear me. I signed up for the stream, and it said it was supposed to be through a webcam. And then I get on here tonight, and now it's saying I needed to use a streaming service. So I quickly uploaded or connected everything to. I connected everything to this ODS or OBS that allows me to stream, and it does not look like it's working well. I've done previous ones where I did not do this, and for whatever reason, it's completely messing up. Does not look good at all. And it's not giving me options to like, it's not giving me options to even, like, you guys aren't hearing me through my mic at all. This is not good. Give me a second. Give me a second, y'all. Let me see what's going on. Yeah, this is not great. Let's see. Let me think. Let me see if I can try to maybe even start a new one where I can use the webcam, because I have like a webcam and a setup and everything. And it would be so much better if I could use the webcam, but it's like not allowing me to do that. Let me see. I'm so sorry for this, y'all. This is on me, because for whatever reason I did not do this properly, I guess. Although it's very possible that they changed stuff on YouTube and I just didn't know about it. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let me see. Let me see where we're at. Let me see where we're at. All right. Can you guys at least, I mean, the video quality is bad, but can you hear me okay? Do I sound okay? I'm looking for feedback in the chat because obviously I can't hear you guys. Man, what's the latency on this? This is tough. I'm guessing you guys haven't even heard that yet. There's static? Yeah, okay. What that's telling me is that you guys are not hearing it from my microphone. You guys are hearing it from my computer, which is not great. But I don't want to try to fix this the whole night and you guys not get your answers, questions and answers that you guys came for. So unfortunately, I'm just going to keep it how it is. Although I will say, if this is your first time, seeing or joining one of my Q&As, this typically is a lot better. Yeah, whoever you're right. This is not great, but we're gonna run with it. Okay, so look, it's not going well. We're just gonna run with it. That's what we do on this channel. Go ahead and start asking your questions. I know I created a post. It was like, gosh, it was basically just saying I was gonna have the Q&A, and some people already asked questions. So if it takes a while for you guys to get it, I'm just gonna start asking questions Well, let's see. And I'm going to go over there just so I have it in case you guys don't start asking questions, because I don't want to sit here in silence. Let me see. Here we go. I'm opening it up right now, but I'm also checking what you guys are commenting. First question, I'm just going to answer it because I'm just going to jump right in. It says, how can we find a job in nonprofit organizations or in a hospital? I come from a healthcare background, and I think, the biggest advice for, especially when you're working at like small hospitals and stuff like that, is to have like a connection, just to know somebody who worked there. The next best thing is reaching out to them on like LinkedIn and introducing yourself and trying to get some type of, connection with that person. And then, hopefully they have some type of opening or you're able to find a recruiter for that company. But just networking and trying to find something. Typically most, a lot of these jobs are going to have job postings and whatnot. So, just going through the typical routes that you would to get any other job. And I think that in general, nonprofits are a little easier to get jobs in, just because they don't have as high of skill caps, I guess you could say, for the most part. Next one is, hi Alex, would you recommend I get LinkedIn Premium for networking for a job? It doesn't hurt, and it won't hurt, because LinkedIn Premium is going to allow you to see who's looking at your stuff, have access to things that you don't already have. And I think LinkedIn is so important for finding a job. I genuinely believe that LinkedIn is one of the best sites to find a job. And so, it doesn't hurt. It could be really worth it for you. I have never bought it myself just because I'm super cheap. So, that's up to you. For everyone joining, by the way, super sorry about the quality. I have a webcam here. I have my really nice microphone here, and I can't use any of them. The whole system is just terrible. So I apologize for that. But, let's just keep going. Next question is, how can I know when I should start working with portfolio projects rather than grinding Udemy courses? I think once you start, the Udemy courses start getting really easy. Like you keep going through the same stuff and you're like, all right, this isn't that hard anymore. I've definitely got it. I know the basics really well. I've got up to, to where I feel comfortable, like I should be trying to work maybe a little harder courses. I don't necessarily advise jumping right into the hard courses. I would start doing a project, because the project brings forth things and issues that you're going to have to work through, and that's how you learn. And that's how almost everyone learns in a way. So I think that that's really important. So I created a video a while back on how I scraped data from Twitter. I cleaned up the data, and then I created visualizations that basically I took Trump's tweets and I built some visualizations off of it. It was a really cool project. And David here is asking, is there any way of doing what you did with Trump's tweets, but in LinkedIn and for job keywords? I almost guarantee you it is possible. I have never done it. What I will say is that, typically with these large tech companies, LinkedIn is a tech company, they have APIs. I recommend looking into their API, and normally they normally have some user guide or some information on there of what data that you can pull legally, and look in there and see if that's in there. I highly recommend going to APIs first. I just scraped it because I thought it was really fun, although I had used their Twitter's API as well. That's where I would go first. That's the first place I would look. Wait. I accidentally skipped this question. Let me go back up. So, Gabrielle says, how to deal with a convoluted IT infrastructure with a lot of dependencies and a small space to automate stuff. I've never been in a place like that, but I can only imagine how incredibly frustrating that would be. I personally would highly recommend if you can, work there for a year or a year and a half and probably switch jobs. Places like that don't typically tend to really update their infrastructure. They don't really update the tools that they're using, and it's just really hard to continue to learn and persist when in that kind of environment. So, that's probably not the best advice. That's what I would do. Other than that, I really think working with management, helping them understand your dilemmas and your frustrations with how it currently is and suggest other options is another thing that you can do. Next question says, what would be the way to build up a portfolio? A portfolio is something that I highly recommend you do not try to do it all at once. It takes time, and it's kind of that thing that you want to kind of procure as you're going through those skills. Because as you're going through it, they're fresh, you have good ideas, you're working through the skills. And so don't do it all at once is my best advice. Do it over time and do it while you're learning the skills. So I recommend you start with SQL, do SQL, learn SQL at the best you can, and then just do a small project. It does not have to be a big project. It doesn't have to be so impressive that it blows any other project out of the water. Just a small project that demonstrates your skills. Because what's going to happen is as you move on to other skills, you will probably, if not very quickly, realize what you could have done better. You'll go back and you'll reformat it and you'll make it look nicer and you'll add new skills that you learn along the way. And so, just building it up over time, building it up as you are going through those skills is my best advice. Sad Game Boy, great name. Hi, Alex. What exactly is a recruiter and how can I find one? I'm a college student, so everything is new to me. Thank you. Look, I knew what a recruiter kind of was. I never worked with one out of college. And I just kind of happened upon recruiters when I started looking for data analyst jobs, and they found me first before I ever found them. Recruiters they work for normally a staffing or recruiting company. They get paid by companies to hire their employees. So take Google, for example. Let's say Google hires a recruiting company. They say, hey, recruiting company, if you find us a data analyst, we'll pay you 10% of their salary upfront. So say that salary is $50,000. They'll pay the recruiting company $5,000 right then and there. It doesn't cost you anything. It is basically a free service to you to find you as a talent. And the way that you can find them is a really good way is through LinkedIn. Oftentimes, if you're in a tech hub or a large city, there will be people on LinkedIn who will message you with jobs. If it's not a job that you're interested in, just message them back and say, hey, I'd love to work with you. This isn't a job for me, but this is what I'm looking for. I also recommend if you find a job that you really like say you found a job for some banking company, you go to that company, you look at the people, and you find the recruiters for that company, and you can message them and ask them questions. So that's what recruiters are. That's just a really quick what I would do to get in contact with a recruiter. Very important. Or you can cold call as well. I'd recommend that. That has helped. That has worked for me as well. Next question says, I'm a student going to do data analyst co-op interview at an IT company. I was wondering if you have any advice. Also, can someone with an engineering background go into data engineering? Advice for interviews is really prep for the company. Know the company, know what kind of tools they use so that you can talk towards that. If I know a company uses a certain software, I can say, I really like this software. I noticed you guys use that. That's something I'm comfortable with and I've had experience with, and you can talk towards that. They really like that. And yes, if you have an engineering background, you can definitely do data engineering, but you're going to have to learn the skills specific to data engineering, which I will say I've kind of dabbled into, especially since I've started working on the ETL side of things a lot. And, it's just a different skill set. It's a different way of looking at systems, and it can be very difficult to learn. But if you have that drive to do it, you absolutely can do that. Okay, this one's interesting. It says 43-year-old IT pro, currently studying Udacity's business analyst and data science for Python. What are possible roles I can pursue, and what other courses should I take after completing both? So, you're already in IT. you're a little further in your career. So it depends on what kind of stuff you've worked on, obviously. But if you're working on business analyst, data science type stuff, you definitely can do business analyst. I think that, it depends on your technical skills. I always recommend that if your technical skills are a little lower, that you look at business analyst first, because business analysts typically don't do as technical stuff. Whereas data analysts are a little bit more technical and data scientists quite a bit more technical. And so I recommend for people who are switching and don't know as much the technical side of things to start looking, think about the possibility of a business analyst role, as well as, look at data analyst roles, and just, see where they go. Having a lot more other people come and join. I am so sorry for the quality of this video. I have a webcam and a thing. It's a whole spiel. It should be much better quality. I'm super sorry, guys, but hopefully my loving and winning smile and my answers to your questions will make up for that. So let's keep going. Question. This comes from Joseph. Oh, I just skipped it. Dang, let me go back because that was a good one. Okay, Joseph asks, question, hello, Alex, do you think the COVID-19 is affecting in any way your job or the way you do it? So, yes, it's affected my job in the fact that I am now home. I used to be in a very large building with all my coworkers. I used to see them. I used to interact with them. There are a lot of coworkers that I have not talked to in like 6-7 months that I used to see every day, just because I don't interact with them in a business setting anymore. And I've had to reach out. I've reached out to them, a few times, just say, hey, how you doing? But, it hasn't been, on that aspect, hasn't been super great because I haven't connected with as many people. Job-wise, I think my workflow is very different. I used to do all my work during the day, come home, spend time with the family. Now I'm doing meetings during the day and all my work at night. So right after I get off of this Q&A, I'm going to start doing my work because I have 3, maybe 4 hours of work to do. So I'm going to go a little bit more into the night than I usually do. Yes, I think it has affected my job, but I don't think it's affected the quality of my work. I think the quality of my work is probably still the same. And so I don't think personally that it's affected me more than some other people. Let's see. So Michael asks, recently I've seen tons of data analyst classes. Curious if this is because of the pandemic, people have more time to train. Have you seen something similar? With everyone being home, courses and classes have become a lot more popular. A lot more people are making them. So yeah, there are definitely more than there used to be. And I think that, because so many more people are taking them and doing them and paying for them, people are trying to capitalize on that and they're making these courses. Do I think all of them are great? No. And so you really got to make sure the reviews look good and the reviews look genuine, and you're learning the skills that you want to learn, because some of these just teach skills that you aren't going to use. Hi, Damon asks, hi, Alex, do you recommend reaching out to nonprofits for pro bono project work to add to my data analysis project portfolio? Yes, I think that is fantastic. I absolutely would do that. In fact, I actually did that when I was first starting out. Before I ever got a data analyst job, I was trying to get a data analyst job. There was this nonprofit that my nonprofit used to work with. They wouldn't let me do the visualizations for my company. And I reached out to them, and there was this old website, bad visualizations. I said, hey, I noticed that you haven't updated in a while. I would love to do that for free for you. It's just something, I would love to kind of donate my abilities and help you out. And they loved to. They sent me data that had no personal information. I built some visualizations, sent it back to them, and they put it on the website. And so it was really cool. And I think that's a really good free way and kind of a way to give back, and also building your portfolio. So definitely nice. Let's see. Greetings from Brazil. Hello from the States. All right, so KK asks, how do you know if your project is accurate, like you are getting the right outcomes? That is a really good question. I think that, goes back to the very beginning of your project, right? What does your data look like, and what are you trying to solve? Because in a business setting, you aren't just going to have data and you're not just going to create visualizations or some type of output for no reason. It has to have a reason. So it starts at the beginning. It starts at the planning stage of here's what our data looks like. Here's the kind of insights that we can get out of that data. And so planning ahead is, I think, the best thing to do. In terms of accuracy, typically you do some type of QA at the end. You do counts and checks and all these things to make sure your scripts are correct and they're giving you what you're actually supposed to want. At my work, we have QA analysts who QA our work. And they save me a lot of time and effort. But every company's different. I used to work at, I did QA for other people. They did QA for me. So you just check each other's work. Let's see. Rose LK says, a part-time business analyst graduating with master's in business analytics in December. Congratulations. That's super, super, super exciting. Honestly, I wish that was me. I'm super excited for you. I don't see growth opportunities with my current employer. What do you think of remote work or independent analyst job? So I am a huge, huge, huge proponent, or however you want to say that. I definitely think if you are not happy in your job, you should look elsewhere. You know why? Because you will be valued so much at another job. I have been undervalued in a previous job, and when I moved jobs, I was so appreciated and valued. It completely changed my home life, my work life, how I felt about just so many things. And so if you're not happy with where you are, start looking at other places. And that's just, it may not be you don't like them, but growth opportunities is what you're saying specifically. If you don't see a future in that company, if you don't see a path in that company, then, by all means, start looking elsewhere. Try to find somewhere that you can grow. Ask that in your interviews. Is this a place where I can be promoted and grow with the company? And the second part of that was, what do you think of remote work or independent analyst jobs? Remote work is becoming a lot more popular. I think it's really odd because these remote jobs are like, yeah, we're fully remote and we don't plan on ever coming in, but you have to live where this company is just in case. So there was a job I posted a couple months ago, and it was I think it was near Dallas, Texas. And I posted it saying, hey, it's a completely remote analyst job, never going to be in person. Then when people started applying, the lady was like, no, you have to live here. And I was like, that makes no sense to me. So just be aware of that. There are a lot of remote jobs available. They're kind of weird. An independent analyst job, I'm not 100% sure what that is. If that's consulting. If it is consulting, I just interviewed somebody, and it's going to be next week's video on how to do consulting analytics, do freelance through Fiverr, Upwork, stuff like that. Going to be a super good interview, so that might answer your question better than I can, to be honest. Let's see. Ni Nguyen. Sorry if I didn't say that right, but that's the best I could do. I have a bachelor's in science, but want to transition to a healthcare data analysis field. Do you recommend going back to school and try for a master's in statistics? I think, it's very interesting if you're trying to transition to a certain domain, because especially for healthcare, if I'm hiring some type of analyst, I really value the domain knowledge, even on the same level as technical skills. So going back and getting your master's in statistics may up your technical skills a lot, which would definitely make you more employable. I think for the healthcare data analysis, if you are really specific on healthcare, I would really start studying healthcare and things within healthcare that you can that would be actionable. Some of the things, and I'll give you a super quick, for people who don't care about healthcare, I want to give super quick, learn ICD codes, learn CPT codes, learn LOINC codes, learn what PHI is, and those just super basic building blocks, and you can put on your resume kind of thing, would really be helpful. Just shows a little domain knowledge. That's my biggest advice for you. Doesn't necessarily have to be education-wise. Kevin asks, how important is GPA for data analyst position? Would it be dependent on the company's values? Look, I have never in my life ever asked anyone what their GPA was in college. And I don't care. I really care about if they know the industry and if they're going to be, if they know the technical skills. That being said, not every company is like that. And if you're right out of college, there are some companies, I think like Google might do that. There are some companies that hire based off of like class rank and GPA and what things you did in college. In 95%, and that's a completely random number I am absolutely making up on the spot, do not care about your GPA at all. So, take it with a grain of salt. I just don't think it's that important. And you can put it on your resume if you have a really good GPA, and if not, take it off. I had like a 3.4 or something, and I don't put it on my resume. My degree is not really worth anything. So that's just my advice. Ooh, okay, this one's interesting. I have an interview for an internship and I'm in the middle of my master's. How should I present myself? So that's really interesting. If you're in the middle of a master's program and you're trying to get employed, I would absolutely still be applying to places because you want to get a job and you also want to complete your master's because you need money to pay for that master's. So if you're in that place where you need both, I would not, and I've told other people this, I wouldn't put, will graduate in whatever. I would just say currently taking your master's. And when you present yourself, if they ask what you're doing, you're like, I'm in a master's program. Here's what I'm learning. If you have experience, I would highlight that way above it. If you have the option to not even talk about it, I would even go with that. They probably don't care, to be honest, that you're in a master's program as much as that you have the experience and, you have an education. To be fair, that's what I think. Oh man, I just skipped down. I skipped a bunch of questions. Let me scroll back up. Okay, okay, I'm back to where I was. What incentive does an employer have to hire me rather than an IT or computer science grad? Depends on what your degree is in, and depends on what experience you have. I think that if you are trying to get a data analyst job and if you're the exact same person and you have a degree in epidemiology, no, that's not a good one. I'm trying to think of something funny, but I can't think of one. Something like really random, right? You have a degree in hard floor engineering. I couldn't think of anything. I apologize. Why would they choose you? Is because you have the domain knowledge and you have experience. If somebody only has a computer science degree or they only have an IT degree but no experience, they might hire you with experience. Now, let's say you have the exact same everything but different degrees. The only reason they might hire you over them is personality. If you get the same, and you both get an interview, is personality, your drive, and probably a portfolio. So, if you have a portfolio and they don't, if you have a really good personality and they don't, if you have a really big drive to be a good employee at their company and they don't, those are things that would bump you up in the list. That's just my 2 cents. Let's see. SGL, how's it going? He's a subscriber on Patreon. Super cool. He says, hi, Alex. I'm looking for a junior data analyst position. What kind of small projects should I put on my resume? Thanks in advance. Small projects are fantastic. You do not have to go over the top and make these huge projects and go super in depth all the way from the start to the finish. And you don't have to do that. Start small. Start with 2 small projects. One that I always really like is a small data cleaning project and then a small querying project into where you create views. The small data cleaning project, you take some data. Let's say for this really simple example is you have some dirty data, and I'll give you 2 examples. You have a first name in one column, a last name in another column, and you want to combine them into one column. So you create that. That's because that's how you want the format. That's a little bit of cleaning, you could say, or formatting. Cleaning, a really easy one, and one that I had on my kind of one sheet of skills that I knew, was formatting a phone number. It's not as hard as it looks. You can look it up on Stack Overflow. Not super hard, but it'll give you a good example of data cleaning. So say in a column you have phone numbers. They're all different formats. Some have parentheses, some have dashes. You use regular expression to remove all of that. Then you use substrings to format it exactly how you want. and it cleans up the data. That is a really simple example of how you clean your data. Super, super basic, the simplest I could possibly give you. Well, maybe not, but the best I can give. Then on the creating the views, you create a view. You take a subset of that data. I recommend taking 2 tables showing that you know how to use joins or unions or however you want to present that. Taking a subset of that data and creating a view. And you can do that in several scripts, like a stages. And I highly recommend those 2 small projects. Those are really good, easy ones, and you can go as advanced or as basic as you want. And whatever you put on there, it's better than nothing. I promise you, unless it's really bad, I promise you it's better than nothing. Let's see. Okay, so Tyler asks, so I have a bachelor's degree in economics, MBA, and about to finish a graduate degree in data analytics. Should I look for internships or entry-level jobs since I don't have real-world experience? I think that if you have paid for an MBA, you do not want to be getting an internship and not be making any money and not be able to pay back if you had to take out loans or anything. You want to get a job. And, you know, I absolutely think that you should be going for a job, is what I'm trying to say, because, you know, your education level is higher than most people. And, you know, I think that that is worth something. Stephen asks, is Tableau certification worth it? Yes, I do recommend it. I have an entire Alex Analyst show episode dedicated to certifications, and that is one that I do recommend. Tableau is such a staple in data analytics and the analytics world in general, and people recognize it. It's not like some, you know, Cabrera or Calabra, whatever. It's not some random like certificate or certification. This is a brand name, Tableau. People know it. It's worth something. So I do recommend it. We've had a lot more people join. I just want to say, super sorry about the quality. Super bad. It was not my fault. I 100% blame YouTube and my lack of preparation. Let's see. Valet, it's a cool name. He says, is data analytics storytelling an important skill for entry-level data analyst job? If it is essential, which course would you recommend for it? I think that, especially when you're at the entry level, you do probably work a little bit more on visualizations than once you get more into the technical side of a data analytics job. Especially if you're getting like a junior role, they're not going to give you the hard data cleaning stuff right off the bat. They'll give you the easier visualization stuff. So storytelling is important. It definitely is important. And I do recommend learning that, that side of things. I recommend, there is a Udemy course. It's called Story, I'm going to get this wrong and I may have to look it up, but it may be in the description. It's for Udemy, it's how to create dashboards. And throughout that, it talks a little bit about storytelling, how to present your data, the different types of dashboards to do certain things. Highly recommend that one. I like that one a lot. Hey, for all the people watching right now, in the description, I have a link. I want you to go click on it. I hit 10,000 subscribers, thanks to, I'm sure, almost all of you guys. And I was super ecstatic about it. And I'm giving away free courses on Udemy, completely out of my pocket, no sponsor, no nothing. I'm not taking your email for a shout out list or to spam you. It's literally, I'm just giving away courses and that's it. So go sign up. It's just fun for me to give back to you guys who have given me so much. I enjoy this way more than you guys could ever imagine. So, you know, that's just a little plug for if you want to earn literally free courses. You're going to pick 2 people, 3 free courses per person. Enough about that. Let's get back to the questions. That's what matters. Next question from Harush Ikesh. Hey, Alex, can you please tell us best suited resume format for data analyst job profile? I have a whole video on creating a data analyst resume. I'm not 100% best suited resume format. I'm not 100% what sure that means, but hey, I have a whole video on data analyst resumes. I've reviewed a bunch of resumes on the channel. I recommend just checking those out and following that tutorial as well as the ones I review so you can get some ideas of what I like, what I think is good versus not good. Enoch says, hi Alex, does being good at programming enough for a data analyst role? Or do I need other skills to back up my programming? If yes, what skills would you recommend? If you mean programming as in Python, you can't just know Python. There are very, very few jobs where they only use Python. You definitely are going to need SQL. You're probably going to need maybe, it depends, maybe some cloud platforming, AWS, Azure. You definitely need to know Excel. You can do visualizations with Python, but sometimes they want you to use Tableau, or they want you to use Power BI or ClickView or just any other thing. So it's good to diversify your skill set so that you open up to a broader audience in a job. Let's see. EJ Villa says, "Hey Alex, I'm currently a business process analyst in a company, but I feel like I have stagnated in growing or learning more. Should I leave now or not now for the time being due to the pandemic?" That's super up to you. I don't know your situation, your family, your goals and aspirations. Right now, I'm staying put. I personally I'm not changing careers right now. One, because I have everything kind of set up how I need it. And it really fits my lifestyle and work-life balance right now, because my company's giving me a ton of flexibility to go to meetings during the day and work at night. And I may not have that at another company, and I need that right now. So I would just look at what you want the most. Are you really open to getting another job and transitioning and working hard at the beginning, because that's typically, you're learning a ton? Or do you need to be in a more stable place, even if you're a little bit stagnant? Completely up to you. JT says, "Hi Alex, I graduated with a degree in finance back in 2016, but didn't use my degree as I needed to take care of the family business. Okay. Would it be hard to become a data analyst with no experience?" It is definitely harder. It's definitely harder to become a data analyst if you can't prove that you know how to use the things that data analysts use. I mean, that's kind of the crux of everybody starting out as a data analyst. You need experience to get a job, but you can't get a job because you have no experience. It is. I've heard it 1,000 times, and I've been there. I think that you just really got to put a lot of time and effort into building your skills, your portfolio. If you want to get a certification or two, updating your resume, and really selling yourself to recruiters and in interviews in order to get a job. Definitely possible, though, especially with a degree in finance. Going to banking or something like that. All right, let me see. So Dark Knight says, "Hey Alex, even though you are from the data science field, what are your opinion on getting AWS Cloud Practitioner certification for a fresher along with data analyst knowledge?" So I am a data analyst. I work on a data science team, so I do work with data scientists, but I'm not a data scientist myself. I'm not sure if that's what you had said. AWS Cloud Practitioner, I think it's great. I think that AWS and being certified in it, again, it's a name brand. Another one I recommend is getting the Azure certification. They have a data analyst Azure certification. These are it's Microsoft. It's name brand. It means a little bit more than, Alex the Analyst certification, which I highly recommend you do not get. It's not worth anything. And so those one-off courses where they teach you a lot, but they don't really mean a lot, aren't as worth it as like the AWS, Azure, Tableau, those certifications. Okay, so Anurag. Cool name. I just don't know how to pronounce it, to be honest. "I have a bachelor's in electrical and electronics engineering." That's awesome. "And I was at home after graduating in July 2017, so that's about 3 years ago. Now I'm learning SQL. Can I make it as a data analyst as a fresher?" And then that kind of trails off with the question. Yeah, it's definitely possible. And everything that I've talked about up till then, I think it's absolutely possible. Work on your portfolio, your resume, you're building the skills. That's absolutely important. Oh gosh, I did that thing where I skip it again. It just keeps doing that. I'm not doing that on purpose. I didn't do that on purpose. I'm going to try to get back to where I was because I skipped a few questions. I'm not exactly where I was, but somebody asked, "How can I be a freelancer?" I just recorded an interview today with somebody who used to do freelance work and now owns their own analytics consulting business. And it's going to be great. I'm just going to tell you to watch that in next week's episode. That'll give you a lot more information. I don't know anything about freelancing. It's not my thing. So wish I could be more helpful on that. Do you think it is good for putting certifications on your LinkedIn or resume? Sure, if the certification is good and you think it's worth putting on there, absolutely, certifications will help. But I wouldn't expect it to like get you a job. It's just a piece of the puzzle that is getting a data analyst job. Karan said, "Can you please review my resume?" I do review resumes, but I only review resumes right now through Patreon. If you become one of my monthly subscribers or you want to do a one-off session, I do those. It's just I get a lot of requests just to review someone's resume. I used to, like, when I first started, I was only getting like a couple a month. Now I'm getting like 5 to 10 a day, and I've stopped accepting those. And it's just because I don't have the time, and I'm super sorry. I really wish I did. But if you want to email me and ask if you want to set up a time to do like a one-on-one session, we can make that happen. I'm sure we can. Michael asked another question. He said, have you looked into LinkedIn Learning yet? No. And the guy I interviewed today creates LinkedIn Learning courses. And so I felt really bad that I hadn't used the platform. Actually, that's not true. I've used the platform. I like it. I didn't learn on there exclusively. I didn't learn a ton on there. I liked Udemy and Coursera a lot when I was first starting out. And so I need to look into LinkedIn Learning. I really do, and I haven't done that. I'm just being honest. It's actually good he's answering them sincerely. I never miss any questions. Hey, I'm here to answer the questions, UJ Villa. I'm not missing any questions. I'm doing my best here. Michael says, also the hate on the radishes. Look, you can say what you want. Radishes are disgusting, and I refuse to eat them. If it's in a dish, I just won't eat it. I'll stay away from it. There's better things to eat out there. Okay, PS, this is another question. PS says, hi, Alex. I have been searching for a data analyst job after learning SQL, Tableau, Python for data analysis, and Excel, but I can't seem to get an interview. What can I do to increase my chances? It sounds like you know all the skills. Now you really have to learn how to market yourself, work with recruiters, and you need to display yourself as someone who they want to bring in for an interview. And that can be very tough. I have lots of videos on that stuff, so hopefully that might be helpful. But the resume is probably, something you really need to look at. Does it display you as a person, as an analyst well? Does it make you look good? And would that be someone you would want to hire? And so really want to focus on that resume and portfolio if you haven't done that already. All right, Kurt says, what's the next job you can move up to after being a business analyst? I'm currently an entry-level business analyst. You can be a business analyst, senior business analyst, next level business analyst, lead business analyst. You can continue being a business analyst. You don't have to transition out of that. Business analyst is a very good job. I have nothing against it. I think it's very important. You can also do data analysis. Highly recommend that. And again, it's preference. You want to go the more technical route? Do you want to stay the business route? You could also go, do something more domain specific. You can go financial analyst. You could go healthcare analyst. Just depends on what you want to do. There's so many possibilities. You could also go into consulting. You could also open up your own business. I mean, who knows? The possibilities are endless, to be honest. Hi, I'm trying to study genomic analysis using Python or R language. Is there a good intro level online course in bioinformatics, genomics? That's how you pronounce that. I do not know. I'm sorry. I wish I knew that. I don't know. But I'm sure if you searched around, you could find someone who's more knowledgeable in that area. I just don't. Ivan Noles, that's my guy. Says just wanted to watch the live QA. Hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. I love chatting with you on Patreon. He's one of my Patreon supporters. Super awesome guy. Let's see. It's 9:45. When I'm saying this, it's 9:45. We'll see how long the delay is. It's 9:45 where I am. I'm gonna keep doing this for maybe 15 more minutes, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. So that's just want to give that disclaimer. Dark Knight says, hey Alex, how did COVID lockdown affect you as a person, both in work and family life? I kind of answered this earlier, but Really, it just changed my work schedule. I used to work 9 to 5, or actually I was working 8 to 4:30 or 8 to 5. Now I do my meetings during the day, and at night I do all my work. So right after I get off this call, that's why I have to end at 10, because I have a lot of work to do. So I have to go work after this. And so, I got to do what I got to do. I'm going to make it happen. But again, I love my family. I love being home with my family. I had a baby during the COVID, right? The peak of fear around COVID. So that was kind of scary. But besides that, I've been doing really good. And I appreciate you asking. Let's see. So let me try to summarize this really quick. So Mark says he's from the Philippines, degree in psychology, working as a data analyst, and wanted to take a master's degree, but it's expensive. And his salary is super low where he lives. And he says he's thinking about taking data camp and then enroll in a master's. What do I think about data camp? Look, I used data camp, the free version of data camp, and I liked it. But I didn't think the free version it wasn't as in depth, and that's because you probably have to take the paid version. If I take the paid version, I probably would have loved it. But I've never taken the paid version, and so data camp people, if you have any advice, let Mark know, because I can't speak super intuitively to that, or not intuitively, that's not the word, but I can't speak like knowledgeably on that area because I just haven't taken it, the paid version of it. Brendan, all the projects I've done at work for SQL use proprietary info I can't share in my portfolio. Is speaking to those worth it, or should I focus on a project portfolio? I was in the same boat. I couldn't use proprietary information. What I did was the scripts that I was using at work, I went home and got a data set and applied those same types of scripts, not the exact scripts. I wasn't stealing. I just applied those same logic, the same, types of things that I was using in those scripts to the new data set. And then that's how I built it. And I do recommend you building your own portfolio, although you should be able to talk to it always. The more you know, the better you can talk about it, the better it's going to be. Okay, Joshua asks, hi Alex, what type of jobs would I be qualified for with a business IS degree? I'm guessing that's information systems degree, along with Azure DP100, designing and implementing a data science solution, and Azure AZ104, Azure administration. You probably are looking at maybe like a DBA job, DBA or database developer. With everything you mentioned, you can always try to go the data analyst route. You might just need to learn, maybe you do know SQL, but you need to know SQL, Tableau, Python, Excel, all the basics. But just based off everything you said, it sounds like a DBA job to me. L Wong 27 says, hi Alex, I'm currently an accountant in the financial services field, but super interested in data analytics. What kind of opportunities are there within accounting, finance, and data analytics? So many jobs. I mean, there are millions of, no, that's an exaggeration. There are thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of financial analysts, business analysts, data analysts, all working within the financial field. I have a friend who I was just talking to today who is working at USAA. It's a banking company. They work with finances, and you have to hire hundreds of analysts to work with the type of data that they have. And every company does that. So there's so many jobs available. And I wouldn't be worried if there's jobs available. There are jobs. Dark Knight says, oh, it did that thing again. Gotta be kidding me. I got to scroll. Oh, wow. I'm realizing there's a lot of questions that I'm not going to be able to get to. I'm going to go super fast. I'm going to speed this up. Already, top 3 book suggestions. They may be in the description if they're not. Check one of my older videos. I have 2 books that I liked, one on Python, one on SQL. But I can't think of them off the top of my head. It's Python and SQL. SQL, R, Python, Tableau. Which tool among them data analysts use frequently? Definitely SQL and Tableau. Some use Python, some don't. Some use R, some don't. I think a lot more are starting to use Python. R is a little bit more advanced for data analysis. Some use it, some don't. Do data analysts happen to implement machine learning algorithms into their work? Not that I know of. I've never done it. I don't know any. I've never talked to any data analysts that do it. That's mostly data scientists or machine learning engineers that do that. Hi, Alex. I watched all your videos and noticed you asked your wife everything, all your decisions. You need to man up, boy. Look, you may not be married. You may be married. Let me give you some really, really, really solid marriage advice. And this is completely unsolicited, but it sounds like you need to hear this. When you are married in a committed relationship, what they say and what they think and they feel about certain topics really matters. So I highly recommend, if you have not already, talking with your significant other about the decisions and the big decisions you're going to make, because that means a lot to them and it will help strengthen your relationship. So that's a little marriage advice for all the married people out there or single people. If you're going to get into a relationship, talk about these things. Man, you got to do it. You got to do it. Pre-rack says, can you write down your email? Yeah, typing it in the chat right now. Feel free to email me. I'm always available. I don't do anything. I'm always available. Just shoot me a message. Let's see. How do you build a SQL resume? I don't think there is such thing as a SQL resume. I think there's a resume and you can put SQL on it. I have SQL in 3 different spots on my resume. In my intro, highlighting that I use SQL Server Management Studio. In my skills section, where I highlight T-SQL, SQL, MySQL, PostgreSQL, Microsoft SQL, and then in my actual job description where I talk about SQL. So I highlight it a lot. Let's see. What kind of marketing skills are useful for data analytics roles? I don't know. If you're at an analytics company, domain knowledge. I don't know if marketing skills are super needed. It's good to be able to market yourself and sell yourself and things like that. But in terms of the actual job, once you get a data analyst job, I don't know. I'd have to think about that, to be honest. What do you think of Udacity nano degrees? I think that they probably are really good. I think they're probably expensive for what you're getting, or with all the free courses or the cheaper courses that you can get, I definitely think there are cheaper options. I just don't know. I've never taken it myself, but I know people who have taken it and they liked it and they learned things, but the cost is pretty high. I personally wouldn't be taking it. What's the best way to practice SQL at home? I have, here's my honest opinion, and I'm not just trying to self-promote. It's you need to download your own SQL server on your computer. Like, you need to download MySQL, PostgreSQL, Microsoft SQL Server. I have on my computer right now Microsoft SQL Server, and I have and that's SQL Server Management Studio to give me the display and everything I need. Right. I highly recommend doing that, and I have a video, the basics course. The very first video shows you how to download everything, set everything up, get data in there, everything. So if you're curious on it, the best way to do that, because you can then say you have experience or you've used SQL Server Management Studio, and that's way better than just putting SQL on your resume or just using online things to practice queries. You want your own data. You want a place where you can toy around with it and mess around with it. That's what I recommend. All right, got 5 more minutes. I'm knocking these out. Next one. Hope you are well. What do you know about marketing data analytics? Not much. If you know anything about the job skills, I'm guessing SQL. Yeah, sorry, I don't know anything about marketing analytics. I'm sure it has a lot of similar skills to just a regular data analyst job, but I can't speak specifically to marketing analyst. I wish I could. Neil says, just landed my first role as a business analyst. Congratulations. That is awesome. We'll be working with Tableau a lot and they use Oracle SQL. Nervous? Hey, don't be nervous. Look, you're not going to be expected to know everything. Just learn as much as you possibly can, as quick as you can, become invaluable, become someone who's bringing worth to the team, and you will do amazing. I guarantee it. Do you think it's worth it to go to a boot camp if you want to do a career switch into data analytics? If so, do you recommend any good boot camps? I've heard of General Assembly and Thinkful. And I did a whole video on boot camps, degrees, all these things. Here's my overall thought. Boot camps to me are so expensive for what you're getting. And unless it has a job placement and a job guarantee, you will not pay a cent until you get a job. It is not going to be worth it. Places like Thinkful and General Assembly have probably really good courses and really good teachers, and they may be really good, but if they do not have a job guarantee, do not do it. That's my 2 cents. Try to make a video on skill path followed by a data analyst. That will be next week. That will be my next week's video. It's supposed to be this week. Had an issue. It's going to be next week. Where do you recommend hosting a data analyst analytics portfolio? You can make your own website like on Wix and Squarespace, like you said. You can do that. I have mine on github.io. That's the one that I recommend to everybody. I love github.io. It just hooks up to my GitHub account. Love it. CFA exam for data analysis course. I don't know what CFA is. I don't know what that is. Sorry, I'm skipping your question, Ash. Super sorry about that. I just don't have an answer. Is it John David Arianson that you interviewed for data consulting? Yes, it is. Super nice guy. He's my first interviewer, but I have others planned. So I'm gonna start bringing on some guests because I guarantee you guys are getting bored with me already. You don't have to say it outright. I know it's happening though. You don't have to say it. So I need to bring on some new talent, someone a little, probably people just more entertaining than myself, to be honest. I'm in IT support, trying to switch to data analytics. Any advice? If you've been listening, I have so much advice on this stuff, but I highly recommend, learning SQL, Tableau, Python, building a good resume, building a good portfolio, and then just marketing yourself really well. Our SQL, next, Yash asks, is SQL, Excel, and Tableau enough to get an entry-level job? Yes, it is. Just learn it well. And know what you need to know and know what you don't know. And keep learning from there. Get that entry-level job and just learn as much as you possibly can. Any good resources to learn about specific domains? I want to learn about biopharmaceutical domain for a business analyst role. I work in that industry, and honestly, I don't know. There are some things that in the healthcare realm, but for pharmaceutical specifically, I don't know. Data analysts spend all 8 hours of work in front of a PC. Yeah, pretty much. Layla, sorry to tell you that. It is basically in front of a PC all the time, except when I used to go into business meetings, and I used to talk with my boss and stuff like that. Then I wouldn't be on my computer, but now I'm always on my computer. So yes, I spend too much time. How realistic? I may go over a little bit because there's so much. You guys ask such good questions. I don't want to miss any. Sergey asks, how realistic is a track from public accountant, financial audit to financial data analyst, data scientist? Thanks. It's hard to answer, but I really think that if you have the skills and you have that domain knowledge, which it sounds like you have that domain knowledge is so important. If you can sell that and you can quantify and say, these are the skills I know and this is what would be good for a data analyst role, you can make a transition. All right, I'm going, guys. I'm going. Oh, I skipped a few. Hope I didn't skip any important ones. All right, guys. I'm going to do like 2 more questions. I see more at the bottom, and I feel bad for missing them. But, I'm doing what I can. How do you recommend to share your portfolio with prospective employers? Neb asked that. Really good question. So what I did when I was first starting out is when I worked with a recruiter, I sent a 1-sheet with scripts that I had written showing off my skills. I don't recommend that. You can do that. I don't necessarily recommend that. I would send them a link, put it on your resume, put it on your LinkedIn, a link to your portfolio, which should be online, like a github.io, or another platform. So a link on there. And then if you want to even go on further, print it off like I did. It worked for me, I guess. Okay, Joe, sorry if I skipped your question. I didn't mean to do that, man. I'm a recent graduate in physics and psychology, but want to get into data analytics. What should be my next moves? Take a bunch of courses. I have a bunch of videos on courses, and I'm not just saying this for you to go and watch those videos. Take a bunch of courses. Make sure that this is a field for you, that you can learn the skills, that you can learn SQL. I recommend learning Tableau after that, Excel, Python. You don't have to learn Python, but it'd be good if you did. Highly recommend taking courses on that, making sure you can learn the skills, start building up your resume, build up your portfolio, just like anybody else who's kind of been asking. I recommend trying to use your degree if you can, if you have some domain knowledge, in order to get a job. Okay, there's a bunch of questions left. All right, maybe I'll run a little bit over. Maybe I'll do a little bit over. Sorry about that. Or maybe that's a good thing. And I'm just going to go super quick. I've been going like nonstop talking for like an hour, but I'm just going to keep powering through for you guys because I care about you, want to answer your questions. Ibrahim says, I'm currently doing data analysis with Python and R. I want to get into Google data science. What should I learn in order to get a job after I graduate from bachelor's? That's a really hard question. Email me or message me or comment that so I have some time to think about that one. How often should a data analyst spend learning on his own time? I'm always learning. Even now, I still take courses a little bit less than I used to because I have less time. But you should always be trying to learn new skills. If something interests you, check it out. Do personal projects. You build that portfolio even when you have a job and you're safe from that. Always be building. Always be learning. I would continue to do that in your free time if you have that opportunity. Is it easy to switch the career into data analysis? How welcoming companies while hiring such people? If you don't have a background in data analytics and you're just trying to switch, if you used to be a teacher and you're trying to switch, it's difficult because there are a ton of people trying to get into the field right now, and it's oversaturated because a lot of places have stopped hiring. Some places have increased their hiring. Some places have decreased their hiring. So hiring overall has stopped in some places. So it's going to be more difficult just in general. Dear Alex, can you send us your cover letter before we see the resume? Can you send us your cover letter before you see the resume? I'm going to make a video on that where I show my updated cover letter, my updated resume, and stuff like that. I just, not at a place where I'm going to do that yet, but I definitely will be doing that. Do you record live sessions so your followers can watch later? Yes, I will absolutely be doing that. And this is going to be the worst quality one available out of all of them because the other ones have better setups. Super sorry. I'm going to have to do another one of these in like a couple weeks next month. You know what? I'm going to say this right now. I am doing another one next month, and I'm going to make sure that I have my setup correct and that you guys get the best quality you can possibly get because this is frankly, it's not the best. It's not the best quality. How much deep learning should we know? None. You don't need to know deep learning. Maybe the terminology, but you don't need to know deep learning. Definitely not. Hi, Alex. Can you tell something related to supply chain analytics? I don't know anything about supply chain analytics. I'm so sorry. I wish I did. Hi, Alex. I'm a data analyst in a sales team in a Fortune 500 company. I build many bus tricks, working on data architecture, data modeling. I'm wondering, most data analysts do these things. Most data analysts do not work in data architectural. A lot do in data modeling. I work a lot in data modeling, and I think many do. Data architecture, no. Data architecture is a skill set mostly for data architects and data engineers, sometimes database developers, but not typically for data analysts. Let me see. Oh, gosh, I did that thing where I skip again. Oh, I'm getting close. I'm almost caught up. Stop asking questions. No more questions in the chat, because otherwise then I'll just never catch up. I went back too far. Can you analyze stock market as a data analyst? Absolutely. And there are so many videos about how to analyze the stock market, and you can download data sets in tons of places. You can definitely do that. Let's see. Can we install Microsoft Access? Can we install Microsoft? Sorry, I was reading it before. Can we install Microsoft Access file as a software in PC? You definitely should be able to do that. Microsoft Access is kind of like a simpler version of SQL, kind of. It's sort of a database. Really interesting how it works. I've used it quite extensively in a previous job, but I like it. I think it's a good job to get. Oh, I'm almost caught up. Yes. Hello, learning DAX. Diego says, is learning DAX relevant for a data analyst entry-level job? Definitely does. You do not have to know that to get an entry-level job. Just straight up, you don't have to know it, but you can know it. And it's a good skill. Some people really like that. That you have that. How about the Data Camp courses? Again, I talked about Data Camp earlier. I have a tiny bit of experience, but not enough to give a recommendation. I'm sure they're good. A lot of people like them. I don't have that. Last one, very last one. Nobody else has questions. Please. I'm already 5 minutes over. Tableau versus Power BI. Which one do I recommend? Is one better than the other? I think they both have their place. I think for beginners, they should learn Tableau. Tableau has a better user interface. I think a little bit better user interface, as well as it's easier to create an online dashboard. Whereas with with Power BI, it's a little bit more difficult. And Microsoft intentionally made it that way so that you buy the product. And Tableau is a little bit better, I think, in that way. But I've used both. I like both. For everyone joining, I'm about to actually get off soon. And so I'm super sorry about that. And the quality's bad. You guys don't want to watch this. I promise you, I don't want to watch this. I'm just kidding. You guys should stick around. It's pretty good. It's pretty good stuff. I'm well versed. They keep coming, so I'm going to keep going. I'm well versed in Tableau and SQL. Do I need to know about AWS, Redshift, Microsoft Azure to stay relevant in the market? Yes. Unfortunately, I highly recommend learning some type of cloud platform. I use Azure. I've taken Azure courses. I highly recommend learning one of the major platforms: AWS, Google Cloud, or Azure. What is the process of analytic stocks in Forex pairs? How much do you know? I don't know what that means. No, I don't know what that means at all. I'm late. Hi, Alex Miguel from South Dakota. Is that what that means? SD, South Dakota. What's up? What's going on? I'm sorry you came late. If you didn't already, my mic isn't working. My webcam isn't working. I'm using my built-in webcam. And my built-in, it's a mess over here. That's what's happening, DJ Beats. It's an absolute mess over here. All right, guys. I caught up to all the questions. I answered. I may have missed one or two in there, and I'm super sorry if I missed your question specifically. But email me. I'll try to answer it. In my email, I did put that in the chat. So if you see that, feel free to email me. Thank you guys so much for watching. San Diego, not South Dakota. That makes so much more sense now. Yeah, San Diego. Nobody who's a data analyst lives in South Dakota. It's not possible. They don't have any data analysts there. Thank you guys so much for watching. It was super fun. I enjoyed answering your questions. I wish it would have been a little better visually and audibly, but I'm glad that I got to see you guys and talk to you. And like I said, if you didn't catch it, I am going to do another one of these next month. Guaranteed 100%, because the quality of this one is just so bad. And I'm super sorry for it. That is my fault. I am sure of it, and 99% fault of YouTube. So, with that being said, thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something from it. It was fun for me. I enjoy these things. All right. Bye, y'all. Take it easy. Have a good one, and good night. Well, good night here. Goodbye, wherever you are. Bye.